What's up, Extra Butter listeners? On today's episode, we dive into the series finale of the largest differences between audience and critic scores via Rotten Tomatoes. All four of these movies had a 30% or higher difference via man versus people. On today's episode, we watched Mohawk, a 2018 action history, drama, mystery, and thriller horror, which received an 86% critic score and a whopping 32% audience score. 54% total difference, the largest of the set of four that we've watched so far. So hope you enjoy. I've got some breaking news as well. We've got some gears to grind as always. And we've got the final rankings of the series of four movies that you just listened to. So stick around towards the end for that. And also, we're introducing the new theme for the next series of four at the back end. So make sure you guys watch the wheel spin, as we've got a little bit of a new twist on it. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and you can also follow us over on TikTok, Instagram, and X, the Everything app. Like, subscribe, follow, all those things. Drop a comment, give us some feedback. We're listening. We've got a lot of uproar around some of the things that we're doing, and this isn't a dictatorship, so maybe we'll just listen to you. Guys, enjoy the episode. Roll the tape.
Extra, extra butter on the corn for me. Extra, extra butter. I hope they don't charge a fee. But it won't matter anyway. I got a good movie to play. I'm gonna ask my friends to stay extra butter for me.
This is episode 8, and before the breaking news that I have for you, gentlemen, episode 8. Shout out us. How you feeling?
Good. Let's go.
Feeling great, honestly. And actually, it's not actually episode 8 because we kind of finagled some stuff. So, I mean, to get up to where we're at right now as a hobby, like I'm proud of us for sticking with it because these things fade so quick. But I have fun doing this, man. Like, regardless of, making it big, getting followers, things like that. It's just a side hobby that's fun.
Yeah, I've been
make sure
watching every week.
And make sure to follow us because we, take it. But yeah, episode 8, I thought that was kind of crazy when we were sitting here talking about it. I know we recorded special features, I guess you could say. But 8 episodes in, pretty cool. But I do have breaking news. It is not as exciting as you might think, but you're looking at the newest AMC Premier A-List member.
Did you get a gold card?
I didn't get anything besides the app and the virtual scanner. Shout out AMC. I know that other movie theaters have this, so AMC is just the closest for me, so it makes most sense. But you get up to 4 movies a week for free. Like, you can just go not IMDb, IMAX, 3D, regular, whatever.
Per
all
week?
Comes with it.
4 movies a week?
Whoa.
3 to 4
20
a
a
week.
month?
20. I think it was 25, but 3 movies. I think it's 3
That's
or 4
still
movies
cheaper
a week.
just going once.
You go to 2 movies in a month, and it pays the whole month, like including snacks and stuff. And the deals are, they got it at Regal. They've got it at, Alamo. There's probably plenty of theaters out there that have some sort of subscription, but it's pretty awesome. You get the movies per week for free. You get up to 3 or 4 reservations. So you can reserve like F1 movie coming out. You can reserve Fantastic Four. You can reserve another movie, and then those are locked, so you can't reserve many more, but you can still walk in that day.
Wow.
So you can have your reservations.
Can you book separate tickets? So it's like you're the AMC member, but if you wanted to go with Chelsea, can you buy her ticket through that way?
It's not free. But
No, yeah.
You get like rewards points as well. So I think I don't know the exact number, but I know it's a certain amount. You get $5 off. So you should always be using that account to pay for anything because you get rewards points. All drinks and popcorn, as we love, and you can slap that extra butter in there. Free upgrades. So you get the large drink, large popcorn. You're paying for the regular price. Points. Remember that common theme. Points. Need them. You also get a birthday gift. So when you go on your birthday, you get free popcorn, free drink. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. So I signed up. I got a buddy that told me about it. It makes a ton of sense. I've already gone to 2 movies the last month. plan on going to at least 3 or 4 a month now just to take advantage of it. But there's so many awesome features about it. So signed up, Premier Lists, A-List. Your boy's a member.
I just looked up AMC near me. I don't have one within 50 miles, so I'll be presenting the local theaters. Rewards program, but that is pretty sweet.
Now,
Yeah,
is there a tier system in there?
Yeah, that's the top tier. So there's other tiers that you can pay yearly. You don't get the free movies per month or week. It's more rewards points. The birthday present, like a lot of the other features that you can get. No like service fees on reservations and whatnot, but you still have to buy the ticket. The monthly subscription allows you to see the movies for free per week. So if I'm seeing 3 movies per week, I'd be shocked. But the fact that you can. Also, another crazy thing that I don't know if I told you guys about it. AMC does now every 2 weeks, I think, an unseen movie. So they release a movie on Mondays every 2 weeks that hasn't come out yet. And when you buy your ticket, you don't know what you're going to see.
Oh.
You can go on Reddit because I live in the West Coast and somebody's seen it already because on the East Coast they went to it and they post on Reddit what it is. I'm not going to check that out. I want to be surprised. That's another reason why I got it. Monday nights, go over to the movie theater, go see a movie that you don't know what you're going to expect. A lot of cool features. Proud member of the AMC A-List.
Cool.
Congrats. That's cool.
Same here. Well, not AMC, Cinemark for me.
Yeah, they all have them. I mean, you definitely, if you find the closest theater, I would definitely.
Your rewards sound way better. I got a free movie a month, and then like 20% off for concessions, and that's kind of about it. And then I think it's like 60 visits till I'm platinum, which is a little bit of an upgrade, but AMC sounds way better.
It's awesome. I mean, it's insane. You could max it out, but I mean, you don't even need to. You go twice a month. You go 4 times, like you said, Geese. Like it's literally free for after the $25.99 or whatever the extra.
That's some girl math in there,
Absolutely. But hey, I'm locked in. So
I'm pumped. I'm gonna be following suit.
You got to check it out. It's an incredible deal. Like incredible deal. So. Excited to go out and get back in. I know none of us, I don't think, saw a movie last week, but definitely getting back out there and excited to see something else. But would love to transition this bad boy into Gears to Grind. I think there might be a few. Geese, I don't know if you want to go, if you want me to take the lead here.
I'll take the lead here. I think it's something we can all agree on, too. Online recipes. I don't need your life story. I want the recipe. I don't want to have to scroll all the way down and then get reset and then get hit with ads. Give me the recipe. That's all I care about. I don't care about your grandpa's, grandma's, aunt used to cook this potluck type dish. I don't need it. I don't care. Give me the recipe. That's all I care about. And also, while I'm grinding gears, I do want to toss the flowers to online reviewers because I certainly don't do it. And the only reason I click on, I'll say everything online, is based off reviews. So hats off to you guys.
I think there's a certain element of blogging that goes into those recipes. So I do agree with you. Like, let me jump to the page, jump the page down to the recipe, because I've done that. And you cook. My wife cooks all the time. Shout out, flowers, send them. Should buy more. But I don't cook much. But when I do, I don't usually follow a recipe, but if I'm trying to find something unique and I want to be locked in, have the ingredients, and I click on one of those websites and I have no idea where to find the ingredients or how to do it, drives me nuts too. So I understand, but
my Gear to Grind would also add to that. I didn't have one, but now I do. Movable ads within things like that. Where you're scrolling and it moves with you and you can't figure out whatever. I get it, marketing. If you got to click on it, it's what they want. But God, I hate that.
Well, and to that point, the X's on those ads, they make them so small.
Or move them and then delay them. It's just a whole scam.
You're going to the next tab and then you got to hit on your phone. You're clicking the tab button, X, go back, click it again. Here's a new tab. You can't ever get out of it. It's a revolving door of ads.
Have you guys ever clicked on one of those on purpose and been like, well, And I kind of
sold.
Yeah, I want whatever's on here.
No, never.
Not on that. I have clicked on ads for sure. Like TikTok's got, but it's like scrolling, and then it's like, oh, here's a $10 pair of shorts that look nice. Like
a little TikTok's different than way better. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, they don't get me unless it tricks me into clicking on it, and I'm trying to find how many eggs I need to crack in this goddamn bowl. That's what I'm looking for. That's a good one. I have one that's pretty particular, but it just happened to me. I work downtown in the city. I have an app on my phone that allows me to pay for the parking garage prior to going downtown. I have a parking garage. I'm a routine guy. I like the same things. Let's have a routine. The garage I go to, it's cheap, and I can take one road from my apartment directly after, making the turns outside of my little neighborhood, straight downtown. Don't have to turn. And then I turn left into the garage. 3 days a week. Been doing it for a while. Yesterday, wake up, pay for parking, bang, we're in. Normal day. We're driving downtown. Almost got rear-ended, by the way. Checked the rear view. Guy was coming in hot. I just kind of, was hoping that he didn't hit me. Didn't, thankfully. Get to my garage, and there are gates blocking the exit and the entrance. So I'm like, downtown is all one ways. I'm trying to get on my phone, which I shouldn't be doing, but I have to find another parking garage, and I have a backup plan. $2 more expensive. We don't love it, but I do have a backup plan. Found it, got in there, bada bing, bada boom, park, a little bit further of a walk to the office, whatever. This app, when you get to the garage, there are people that are working there. Like, it's on an app, but they still have security. If you're going to block the goddamn entrance off, why is that still an option on the app? How am I able to buy that? And here's another policy. As soon as it hits the second that you can enter, you can't cancel it anymore. So I couldn't cancel it. You can only cancel before you get there, and you can't get in until you get there at that time. So you have to get there either right at that moment or after, which I typically get there about a minute or two after, time up the drive. So I get to the office, I try to cancel it, no cancellation policy after it starts. So my question to you guys is, if you're running an app and you have human beings that work in these garages or whatever industry you want to talk about that involves an app, why are you allowing me to purchase this if you're not going to allow cars in? And maybe 30 minutes, hour later you could, but I bought it at 7:30 in the morning, and at 7:32 in the morning, I couldn't get in.
Yeah, you would feel like they should just gray it out closed, right? And I've used the parking apps before, and it has said closed before. So why it's not getting updated is mystery. But my question for you, Brendan, is that if there's people working that garage, how fast does it fill up? Do you have to prepay?
I don't think you have to prepay. I've never had an issue with this garage. It's not the nicest parking garage in the world.
I'll never say never.
But I've never run into any issues with this until yesterday, and it's been 10 months. So
it's weird too. Something like that happens in the morning. Your whole day's weird. The rest of your day is weird.
Oh, yeah.
Like it throws you off your rhythm and your routine. Just a parking spot throws you off. That extra 2-minute walk, probably entering maybe a different door or different walk-in. Like your mind is on different.
You're starting the day off wrong.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm also directionally challenged. So when I leave the parking garage that's Plan B, this is the second time I've ever had to park there. I start walking in the direction in my brain, I know I'm going the right way, but you start to question because it's not familiar territory. Like, am I going towards the office? Am I going the wrong way? I'm looking at my phone. Like, I was going the right direction, but to your point, like, everything is off from that moment, and it takes you a little while to get caught up to speed on the day. The day's over. You might as well have turned around and gone home.
Right. I agree.
It's over. Call it a day. So, not going to boycott the app. Not going to boycott the garage, but if it happens again, it's going to be hell to pay. And I want to revisit some flowers that I'm going to give, but I remember Geese earlier just mentioning, I don't care what your grandma and grandpa and aunt and uncles did on their farm when they were cooking. My grandparents 72nd anniversary today.
Woo!
72 years. That's a long time. I called him.
That's insane.
Shout out.
Grandma's like,
Aunt Shirley and Uncle Chuck.
Grandma's like, hey, you think you're going to make it that long? I'm like, we got a long way to chase. I'll tell you that. 72 is a long time.
While we're on the topic, Ross turns 63 today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Same day. Wow. Happy birthday, Ross.
Big 6'3".
B-Day.
Guy thinks he knows movies. We'll have to talk to him a little bit about that.
I have to pull his ear a little bit.
Yeah. But gears to grind as always. Those are a couple pretty good ones. But to kind of move into the series finale of the Rotten Tomatoes critics versus audience score, we do move into Mohawk, but I would like to mention, stick around to the end of the episode because we will be introducing a new theme. And as mentioned in the introduction, we've been hearing a lot of hoopla, a little bit of uproar from the audience about, oh, I would have watched that movie, or I would have listened to your podcast if I'd seen that movie. The whole point is to watch the movie beforehand. We put it out there for you to watch, follow us, plug it again, check it out. The movie's already out there early in the week. You can watch it. That's the reason. Watch it before you listen. That's the whole point. But not a dictatorship. We listen. We want some feedback. So you might see some familiar faces on the wheel this time, but make sure you stick around to the end so you can see the new theme and watch the wheel spin as we get into the next series of 4. But without further ado, we move into the 2018 action, history, drama, mystery, and thriller horror that was Mohawk. Trav, tell them about the movie.
I got a little intro for you boys and girls out there. Give me a little sec here. Got it curated for me. Real nice. In the bloody aftermath of the War of 1812, a fierce Mohawk warrior and her 2 companions are hunted through the forest by revenge-driven soldiers. But they're about to find out. She's not running scared. She's running wild. Yes. What do you got for me on this bad boy of a movie? We were kind of skeptical before we even watched it. What do you think?
I actually liked it. If you ignore all the terrible crap they tossed into this thing, the acting was, I don't know, dude. I think realizing that it was just a crapshoot of a movie made me enjoy it more with that expectation. I don't know if I'd call it horror or anything, but the special effects, the gore, like, sign me up. I was all about it. But yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a slog just because it's like so dry and it's inconsistent, but man, there are some points I'm just like, oh, like just from just how they portrayed it. And not jump scenes, but like, the action scenes, I'll say, really shined.
You can apparently call it whatever you want. You said, I don't see horror, maybe action. They called it about 6 different genres within Rotten Tomatoes, so you nailed it. Dollar you call it today.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing that I did while watching this movie, the first 10 minutes, I was like, you know what? It's cheesy. It's corny. I don't care. I knew it before I was watching, so I was like, you know what? I'll give it a break. You got to give the acting a little bit of a break, and we knew going into it that the budget wasn't very high, so you got to cut them some slack. What's the meat and potatoes of this movie?
There's something to be said, I think, about the expectation that you have going into a movie.
Absolutely.
Because it would be interesting to see how people would compare this to what we watched last week and how much we just drug it through the mud.
Mm-hmm. And
from a professional standpoint, the comparisons between these two, who knows? But I enjoyed it as well. I thought the acting was good. I didn't think the budget didn't fall low on the acting. I thought the characters did a pretty good job. I have gripes with it. Obviously, there's some things that were not done well. But overall, I mean, I enjoyed it much more than I enjoyed what we watched last week. I expected this one to be pretty bad. And overall, from start to finish, not a bad story, not a bad plot. You knew what was going on. They got from point A to point B. I don't know. I would recommend this one. I wouldn't watch it again, but I'd recommend it.
I find it weird that this was the biggest discrepancy now that we've watched it. Looking at the poster, like looking at the trailer, I like could see it. I was like, oh yeah, like this is a corny movie, whatever. But then when you get into the depths of the film and like what it's all about, and I don't know why this one's the biggest.
I could be sounding like a total moron right now, but I thought about something at the end of this movie. I don't think, as classic as a plot as it is to include Native Americans and, British and Americans and war and etc., I don't think I've watched a movie that had this plot. I'm sure they're out there, but I can't think of one movie that I've actually watched that executed this plot or this was the story of the movie. I don't think I've seen one.
True. I mean, you don't see them because they don't have 6 different categories that they cover either.
Well, and typically, this is following the War of 1812, so revolutionary, right? That time period, I'll say. It's typically between armies, British, America. It doesn't really dive into, the native tribes. And if it does, it's full conflict. It's not just, there's a small group here, and they interact.
Yeah, it's kind of like a side plot.
Yeah, it's like an isolated, event. And I think we'll obviously get into it, but that was pretty cool that through the whole movie, it was that group, and it was constant back and forth. Like, it could have been a short, you know what I mean? It could have been like what do they call them? Short movies?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Short film.
You could cut this down to an hour.
It could have been a short film, half hour, 45 minutes, but I don't know. I was entertained.
Yeah. And to kind of get into it, what I noticed right off the bat too is just roll the credits.
Yeah.
Like this is an old school type of movie thing that they do. Like, we talk about opening scenes a lot and you didn't get one here. And when that happened, I was kind of pumped about that because expectations were not high. And when they rolled the credits right away, it's like, I think I might be bought in a little bit here.
I was buying in when the paper started burning across the screen. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, I'm in.
That was cool. That was cool.
It was a horrible special effects.
But it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue that. But yeah, I mean, the paper burning. And it's based in New York of 1814, USA versus the British. And you get the Native Americans kind of put in a pickle of who they are choosing to side with. So something I didn't mention in my initial thoughts was my 3 boxes that I like to talk about: the music, to set the stage, and the gotcha. Music and gotcha. Gotcha didn't really have it. I mean, I don't think you necessarily needed it. There wasn't much. There wasn't an opening scene. They didn't really try to pull you in too much. The music I thought was good overall throughout the movie. Early on, good music, but to set the stage, you couldn't have put more checks in the box because they literally had a page of words that told you exactly what you were about to see. Like, you cannot set the stage any better than that.
Can I debate you on your gotcha later on in the pod?
No. But I'm open to it. Yeah, I would like to, and I don't know where it will come in, but like, I guess I should maybe think of a threshold for the gotcha. Like, where does that cut off? Like, you can't have a gotcha 40 minutes in, So,
okay. I see what you're saying with your gotcha.
I'm saying like you're reading a book, and the first page is I'm in, or the pilot episode of a movie, a TV series.
I'll tell you what my gotcha for the movie was in my terms later on.
Okay.
No, I think there's more of a conversation to go to because we always talk about the intro scene. How do you get introduced? And this one just set the stage. We read it. It told us. We weren't shown it. And there's definitely times and places where that works or doesn't work. For this type of movie, again, expectations, I was like, of course. It's like that makes the most sense. Give me the goods right here. Let's get into it.
It's 200 years in the future, so it's like to put out a movie in 2018 about this specific, war, what's happening. For some people that might have tuned in, they don't know. I mean, you learn about it when you're in 4th grade, 3rd grade, 2nd grade. I don't know. Not a school guy. But you learn about it at a young age, but it's not a common theme for a movie. So you got to at least set the tone somewhere, get us in a setting, and let it ride from there. So, but they did introduce I would say the two main characters were Joshua and Oak. But I thought Calvin and Oak for her and her brother were pretty awesome names. Calvin's weird. For Oak seems more on par.
I don't think they're brother and sister.
I couldn't tell. I think they are.
They did more. They did more than brother and sister.
I know that. I noted that, but I don't know. I don't know if it's now. Here's I guess my question to you, and maybe you're about to say this, but are you thinking like brother sister in the term of like just tribe? You think they were just tribal brother and sister? Not
that's
okay.
We'll get into it, but there's context later in the movie that implies that they're not.
Yeah, I definitely thought they were, but now I'm thinking in the tribe, brother and sister could be just.
It's going to be an interesting conversation when we get to it, then, because I'm curious on your thoughts.
Another thing, Joshua, just a red coat. Love that term. He's a red coat.
Is good.
Red coat's a good term. And they kind of get into it pretty quick. I mean, Mom doesn't want them to side with the redcoats. They don't want war, essentially. It's not necessarily who they want to side with. She's not buying what he's selling. And shout out Joshua. I mean, the guy knew their language. He lived out there, pretty well versed, trying to communicate, and Mom wasn't having it.
I think the mom was the only person the mom actress, whoever played her, was really the only person I had a gripe with acting. Otherwise,
mine was the girl. Mine was Oak. She was just so dry and monotone, I guess. I don't know. I the most emotion I got out of her was her crying, and like that's. So that just kind of took me out of it. Just felt a little off compared to everybody else. Hats off to all the revolutionaries. I thought they all did a great job.
Yeah, and when you get introduced to him, I wrote down the intro of Miles Quincy Holt when they're starting to leave because they find out Calvin had just gone in the middle of the night to go kill however many Americans at their camp. And they're leaving and, trying to just kind of disperse to not bring more to the tribe. And then you get introduced to the Americans, which I don't know if you guys would agree or disagree with this, but when they showed up, I thought they were redcoats.
Yeah, I was confused right away, but obviously they weren't wearing redcoats, so then I kind of turned.
I know.
These must be Americans.
Yeah. But, I mean, you got Miles Quincy Holt. And then I kind of got confused on if Josh was a redcoat or not because they were talking to him like he's American. And they just told us that he was. Like, it just happened. And then I was like, is he not British?
Did you notice he changed his accent?
Yeah.
He changed his accent when talking to the Americans to hide the fact he was British.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's why he sounds a little weird because he's trying to get rid of whatever that accent is. And then he gets caught out because he points the gun. And it's like, why would you do that if you're American, right?
Right.
But so again, like that's where I'm appreciating it's a low budget film. They filmed it in 2 days.
That's crazy.
And I was just hooked.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, Miles is like, we're traveling with two, and then, 7 guys show up.
Yeah.
7, 8 guys show up.
Oh, this is my dad. That don't count.
Obviously, you're going to point the damn gun. You're getting surrounded by people. I don't know if I was an American in that situation, and like you say, you're traveling with 2, and you just start to get surrounded, and you're in the middle of technically a war battleground or a territory battle. You're going to feel a little threatened by that.
I feel like I knew that he was, not one of them because they would have patrolled. They would know who's in the area. So I think that they knew who he was, or at least that he's a redcoat before going in there. But a cool scene of the surrounding and like a guy coming in, and then you're completely surrounded.
Can we talk about the jump scares? Not the jump scares, but it's like they're in this forest and all these trees are wide out. There's no foliage. And then they turn around. Boom, there's that guy. turns around, boom, there's that guy. Oh, you didn't see that dude walking up on you?
And it's like tense. So, they're not talking much once they start to get a little bit weary of each other. So, like, you're going to hear a footstep in the leaves or the branch breaking. Yeah. But, again, I mean, he's surrounded. What is he going to do? He can run and get shot. Now, that leads me to my next point of really appreciate – it's kind of funny that what this point I'm about to make is later, but the inaccuracy of the guns was I appreciated that.
Yeah.
They're just firing away and you're just running like
and you get
wide
one.
open.
You get one. If you have to stop and they're gone if they're running.
They're clogging the damn thing, cleaning, they drop the bullet in, lock it back up. Poof, there am I. The bullet hits the tree 20 yards to the right.
Hold on, but Oak, did you see the shot that almost hit her? It hit like 3 inches before and she didn't move an inch. She didn't move an inch.
Savage.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
The fact they didn't have infinite ammo, though,
yeah,
it could be because it's a time period you have to show that reload action with those muskets and everything. But so many movies you have infinite ammo in, and to show these guys reloading in almost every scene they shot the rifle, like brought me in and made me part of that environment. Because like you have to pause, you have to reload. Your other guys are getting separated because some guy's sitting back there and the other one's chasing. So I thought they did a real good job at like involving the viewer.
And we talk about small details, and when you think about a movie like this, you would assume small details might not be the biggest concern of what's going on, and they didn't miss on that. And it was exactly like you said. There's probably small details to talk about that they missed, but like that part,
right?
I expected what you did, and I was like, they're just gonna nail. They're not gonna miss a shot. These things are 20-25 sniper rifles. They're not. They were not even close, and they had 25 minutes to reload the gun and fire another shot. So you literally have one shot, and if you miss, they're probably getting away from you.
Do we know if they had a like a war specialist or something on the like director list or anything like that?
Yes, I do. I actually, because I was looking stuff up during the movie, after the movie. Apparently, I believe it's the director is like a huge history buff about the War of 1812.
That makes sense.
Him and there was another guy involved. I think it was, I don't know. They were filming a different movie, lost funding for that, and then decided to pivot and do something like this. So they went out. I think it's like one of the New York wildlife parks, and took 2 days to film.
2 days to film. I'll never get over that point throughout this entire podcast.
That's a crazy fact. That
unreal.
Crazy fact.
I don't know how you...
There you go. Grady Hendrix. Ring a bell, Alex?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, it was up in, I almost want to say Syracuse or somewhere in northern New York, but...
Look that up for me, Crit, because I do a lot of work in New York. I want to know.
In terms of where this was shot?
Yeah, it looks like the Catskills.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, the small detail there, I mean, you're right. I mean, that one-shot rifle could have been a 20-shot clip for most movies.
I will say a fun thing that I liked was the sound of the bullets. Like you get like it just like sounded like those lead balls that they fire off.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a surefire miss going into this that they nailed on the head. So small details, got to have them if you're going to enjoy a movie. And that really didn't stop the action there because they get back to home base or, wherever the tribe is and Mom. And I don't know who the other guy was. I don't know. Do you guys remember? I don't think they ever really mentioned who he was.
No.
I don't think it's probably not. I don't know if it would be Dad, but.
They never really mentioned it. I had no idea where he came from either. I'm assuming part of the shit, part of the crew at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember writing a quote down of "You must fight or you will die." Pretty badass. I think that was, I can't remember the American colonel's name, but also want to rewind that because kind of another badass. That guy was awesome. And I do have the cast pulled up here, so I don't want to mess this up. Holt. It was Holt. It was Quincy's Holt's dad,
Captain
Colonel Holt,
or whatever.
Captain Holt, until they get into the scene. I guess it's not backing up. I'm an idiot. They get into the scene where they're surrounding the family, and the mom's essentially saying, I'm going to die for you so you can run. And what was cool was that the guns were inaccurate, but when you get the Native Americans' weapons, throwing knife, arrow, those aren't missing.
No.
And they take the colonel out, and I know there's a lot to kind of dissect within this scene, but the quote from now Colonel Holt, when they call him captain, he's like, "It's Colonel. I just received a promotion." Like that was cool. I thought that was cool.
He is a great antagonist. I don't know if it's because of the way he looks and when the role that he was in killed it.
Guy's got some big ears. I mean, some big old ears.
Radar.
Yeah. He could probably fly with those bad boys.
Yeah, cool scene though.
All the action scenes, like it like they're the end we'll talk about, but most of the action scenes were pretty good, and I think it's a different type of good because of the weapons they had. It's like the guns, right? You're getting one shot, unless it's a kind of a lengthy battle where maybe you can reload that sucker, but for what they had of these one-shot rifles of the lead ball, as we talked about earlier, they did a good job producing with just like that's all they had. It was one shot on one shot, an arrow, a throwing knife, one bullet, and then do it. And they transitioned well, is what I should say. They didn't draw that out too long.
Yeah, and for a movie that they shot in 2 days, like that fact is just as we're going through the movie is impressing me more and more. Like we're talking about the action scenes and transitions, like. That's hard to do. That most movies that do this stuff, I'm sure it takes like a week to do just a couple of those scenes. So, very impressive.
Yeah. I also think that because they're using the muskets and there's a time delay between there, actually allows them to shorten the action scenes to kind of compact them. So you don't have these extended drawn out things. It's quick skirmish, run away, quick skirmish, run away until it comes to the climax. So I think that it actually helped the film in the end by being restricted by the time period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the next part is kind of something that we foreshadowed was now mom's dead. The other guy who we don't know who he was, just a ride out on the shield type of tribe member, are gone. Oak, Calvin, and Joshua are on the run. They got to find the mission to get back to their uncle. They have to fight now. Like the war's on. Calvin killed a bunch of people. They've killed people now. Like the war is it's on. And then that's when Calvin and Oak kiss. And I thought it was weird. So that goes back to, and I don't know the culture, and I don't want to be disrespectful. Threw me off.
I think that's why they're not brother and sister, though. Like, they're not brother and sister, and that scene is coming up. But I think there was a little love triangle going on here.
I'm very interested in what you're going to say about the scene coming up because I still don't know what you're talking about.
We'll get there. Shock reveal.
I have an idea, but like it to me, and I guess I can dive into it when we get there. Like whatever I think you're going to say didn't do it for me. So thought it was weird, didn't understand, but it's 1814. Things were different. So
I'm on the same page as you. So
yeah, I think the years could play a part here. We don't know, what was going on, but a little weird.
Yeah,
a little weird. So, and then I thought, because it cuts back to the Americans, and I don't remember which guy said it. I think it might have been the tracker with the glasses and the messed up eye. I think he mentions like this is bad bread. Like we're kind of tracking something out here in the woods, and this is bad bread. I don't know if this is what we want to do. And Colonel Holt is foot on the gas. Like we are going to kill them. And it was all part of the war. Like he's got every reason in the book ironed out for why they don't have a prisoner when they return very early on in the movie.
Oh yeah,
you got to respect his authority too, and his ability to put the foot down because. I think right then, too, he's like, all right, raise your hand if you don't want to go. They raise their hand, and he goes, you're going to be putting your hand down because we're going.
Yeah.
Remember, what does he say, too? I forget what he said about, like, if you don't put your hand down, like I'm going to do this to you or something. I forget exactly.
I don't know.
What he said, but
I didn't have the exact
cool
quote, but he was going to kill him.
Yeah,
like basically it was like in a nutshell was he was going to kill them too. But yeah, I mean, very early. I am the captain now.
Basically, yeah.
Or I am the colonel now. I also want to talk about something that's bothered me my entire life. I'm 29 years old. The word colonel, the way it's spelled, it'll drive me nuts forever.
Does not sound how it looks spelled, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
No.
Well, welcome to mid-episode Gears to Grind.
Yeah. Well, it's like I played Halo, not to get on sidetracked, and Colonel was a ranking before Brigadier, not to get too far into it, and then he became a general. Shout out myself. But COLONEL, Colonel. Come on. We can do better than that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
We can do better.
I know how to speak English, but whatever. What was that?
Yeah.
Can we talk about the most useless character in this movie?
Who's
The
that?
translator.
Fancy Dan?
Useless? What are you talking about?
Fancy Dan?
They speak English. What do you need a translator for? They actually do have Mohawk language in the film. I don't know why the subtitles don't show that stuff. Kind of pissed me off. Throw that into the bucket of years of grind.
Didn't have the
But-
money to spend on it.
You want to grind my gears, buddy. I wrote that down too. Mohawk, speaking Mohawk. The movie's called Mohawk. Like, if you're not going to show us to translate the French, because we get a French guy, and you're not going to translate other languages, like the movie is called Mohawk. If they're speaking in Mohawk, tell me what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to know.
Speaking Mohawk?
You don't even know if they're actually speaking Mohawk. That's just what Wikipedia's telling me. Like, there's no way to know.
No, and we've talked about this on previous episodes of like, you put yourself in their shoes. Like, we as a viewer don't understand what they're saying. I get that point. So like, yes, they're speaking Mohawk. If even like subtitles would have helped, but like we don't get it, so it's kind of interacting with you. Like, okay, I wouldn't know what they were saying if I was there. But Joshua does. He speaks the language. So let me in. Fill me in on what they're saying. I needed it. I didn't like that. That one pissed me off too, and I'm glad you brought it up first. I was probably gonna at some point it was gonna come up. I don't know if I was gonna say it for the end, but drove me nuts. Like, other languages, cool, English and Mohawk, I need to know it. The movie's called Mohawk.
One other fun fact is the actress that plays Oak, it actually has ancestry to the Mohawk tribe.
I was curious about that. I didn't do any research on it, but that was going to be one of my kind of other questions about it, just to learn a little bit more about the cast.
Cool.
But good for them. Yeah, that's for I think $1.8 million movie that they shot in 2 days. Like, they did everything right for what they could, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So, and then they do split up, and they did capture Calvin. Man, he took a beating. When I think they shot him in the arm. And then they got his
right in the
arm
back of the elbow.
Yeah, it wasn't his leg, it was his arm, yeah.
No, it was his elbow.
His elbow.
Yeah, it was his arm. But that location specifically, fuck.
And then they got him in a noose and kind of beat him up to get him to like scream because they knew they were going to chase. And like he walks up and just snaps his arm back. Like, some of those parts, like that one didn't like make me kind of like jump, but I was like,
He was
like,
choking
you can
for a while.
feel that.
Oh,
Like lifted up high enough where he's choking.
I don't think so. I think he was on the ground. I think the noose was there.
It was tight enough to make
they
him
pull him up.
It was
a little bit
uncomfortable.
to like tiptoes.
Yeah,
like, he
I'm
wasn't
not saying
hanging.
choking as in like he's gonna pass out or like a blood choke, but like choking as in this is very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were just beating his ass.
Were you guys fully expecting him to spit in his face when they did that face to face with the colonel?
No,
Oh, they were going at him like, he's gonna spit in his face, and
you have
just
to.
ultimate disrespect. Yeah, absolutely have to in that moment.
You're already screwed. Like,
You have to know you're dead at that point.
get some kind of lick in. You know, get a spit a loogie on him. You can't throw your right arm anymore.
Yeah.
That thing snapped in half. But it worked, right? Like, the plan, like, we're gonna make him sing, and that's when you kind of and I had a little bit of a moment there with the Americans of like the guilty conscience. Like, Colonel Hull had zero interest in any sort of retreat or mercy, and they made Miles, his son, do it. like pouring. What was it? Hot water? Was it oil? Like what do they have?
I thought it was like boiling water, but how did they get it to that point?
They had a fire going there.
Did they have a fire at that point?
It might have come out of nowhere, but it was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they forced him to pour the boiling water down his mouth, which God, what another torture point that is.
That was a brutal scene. Like altogether, man. This guy's just getting beat up. He's getting like Holt's threatening to take his tongue out.
I mean, one of the worst that we've seen since we've been watching movies.
Yeah.
That one was bad.
And like that happens. Like that's what's crazy is like that happened and it still probably happens.
Oh, most likely.
You know what I mean? And it's for better or for worse. It's like torture's torture. Like you get caught in a situation like that, there's nothing you can do.
Oh, yeah, like being in a fight and getting beat up to a point where you can't defend yourself, and how scary that must feel is not comparable, really, because you're not getting tortured. But like that same type of situation, like you are completely helpless.
Yeah, and it gets to the point of something I talked about earlier that I wanted to revisit now of the inaccurate weapons, because Joshua and Oak found him, and that was the plan, was to make him scream and yell, and they're going to come for him because Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind. And Joshua just says, "I've had enough. Fuck it." Squares up a shot and just puts one right in Miles' head. And that's when I kind of chuckled, because they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn 20 minutes ago. And Joshua, from however far out, just puts one right between the blinkers. It wasn't, but right in his dome, and just drops him.
Rebound.
Like, what a freaking shot.
Bang.
I really appreciated every time someone died, it was like fully in screen, not off in the distance, getting shot in the chest. No, right through the dome, through the neck, or just multiple wounds. What happens to Calvin, right? You see him get beat up for about 20 minutes, and then they just stab him. But every single death is visible. Like there's a visible wound, and it's not behind clothes, not some blood patch. Like that's what just keeps reinforcing the environment.
And I thought the reactions to the reactions of the cast to those deaths were pretty good. Like it wasn't a crazy flee or whatever. It was a oh shit moment, and like a kind of brace yourself and get ready for war. Like they didn't overdo the reactions of everybody around the death. Like they handled themselves pretty well, and it wasn't like a scream fest or every man for themselves. Like it was a pretty, I don't know what word I'm looking for, and I don't know if I'm just bullshitting here, but like I thought that they did a nice job with the reactions around people getting killed.
Yeah, for the most part, it felt realistic with those pieces, because like in most movies, you are going to get that reaction of the oh my gosh, and like the close face up, and actual reactions. Whereas this, like, we actually have to move on. I just shot him. We have to run. You know what I mean? And the reaction of, oh, are they going to shoot us now? They did a pretty good job of that, too.
When they did, too, like Joshua essentially takes one for the team and takes off in the other direction for them to follow, so that Oak can get to Calvin, cut him off the noose, and then that's your boy Fancy Dan, the translator, standing there, puts the gun up, and he turns around, whatever, and he's please don't hurt me, like just soft. And I don't know, dude. Like you could tell he didn't want to be doing any of that anyway.
He was out of his element.
So it felt good. I mean, I feel like, to your point, like of him being irrelevant, maybe his job was irrelevant, but like his character and like his reactions were on par with somebody in a group like that had no business being in a gunfight.
His progression throughout the movie, actually, I will revise my point to the uselessness.
Figured you would.
Well, his role is useless, but his progression to getting more and more uneasy of the situation was one of the more visible actors, in that group.
Yeah.
I mean,
he is clearly uncomfortable and like just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
I mean, his role, like, those type of guys did have translators. You know, he was meant to be there, and he had a kind of a cool part of the movie, so I'm glad he was there. I wouldn't call him useless.
He was useless. You don't need a translator. Yeah, his job, 100%.
His job was useless. But again, in the movie it was, but in the grand scheme of things, like not useless because you got to have a translator. They're not just communicating with the Mohawk tribe, like they're probably communicating with others. But to your point, in the setting of the movie, what did he translate ever? I don't think he translated anything.
No, he tried to translate, then stuttered, got shy, and gave up.
And I think one of them was like, they speak English, dude. Like, we don't need you to translate.
Well, they addressed it. That's why it's like, this movie's great because they addressed the fact they speak English, man. Like, what?
That's why it's fun, because that's the point.
Yeah. And then Calvin dies, right? They come back. He tells him to leave him. He's trying to get out of there. The guy can't move. I mean, he moved all of 6 feet in however long trying to, like, he couldn't move. Like, you feel for the guy, and then they off him. And that's when I thought the Revenge Tour was on, like, Go Time. And I know that there's a couple different parts where this might come up, but I was thinking Go Time, Revenge Tour for Oak, you know, to get back at him. And something that I noticed was that when the Americans were talking about tracking them after that was that, and it was getting to be a little bit later, was that they were cannibals.
Yeah, I think that just goes more into the misinformation of the cultures, and you know, paying homage to that, where they're savages, they're cannibals. Where?
Right.
Yeah. I actually didn't know. I didn't know if that was like a. I know that.
To be fair, I don't know, but that's where I just assume that they're just making shit up because they're unfamiliar, and if we demonize them, it's easier to kill them.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to the long lost episode of To Kill a Mockingbird, of when we talked about who nobody will ever hear. Like when you're growing up and people are like, oh, we don't like them because they're nasty and they're this and they're that, and like what you hear as a kid, and like I think it's the same thing. It's like you're not intertwined with their culture, you don't know them, and it is a war. So whatever you can do to create machines to kill, like you're just gonna say whatever you want. So. I don't know if they were cannibals or not. I was curious if anybody looked that up, but they did mention that. And then they come up on that, what they seem to be a bear hole.
One point here.
Yeah.
Attention to detail. Again, he's got his son's hair on his head when he's trying to wash off the blood from it. And again, great scene. Stark ass naked. You don't get a lot of it. Props to Urza Buzzington, who is the actor. Takes a lot of balls to stand naked on film. But I was like, what is that piece of hair up there? Like, why does it look like that? And then he pulls it out, and it has like his brain juice on it. And I was just like, man, that's great, because if shooting someone in the head, it explodes out the back. And when that happened in the scene, I was like, he would have been chunks on his face and everything, and the fact they added a little bit of detail there to showcase that it was actually there, I was impressed.
Yeah, I have two questions. The first one being, and Trav, this is open to the both of you. Did you think that was brain matter? I thought it was like a feather, and it was part like a feather stuck in something like from his hat.
I didn't realize what he was pulling off till after. So
yeah,
you guys noticed it before I did, so I don't know.
Like when he did that, I saw him do it, but like I thought it was like a feather into something.
No, because he smells it, because it's his last sense of his son. But no, it's his son's hair.
Yeah,
clip it. Maybe I was just too busy staring at his ass. I don't know.
Well, that leads me to my second question. When you said we didn't get much of it, like what more did you want? Did you need him to turn around?
Did I say that? I wasn't
something
talking
along the lines of.
Oh no! I just meant that being bare naked in any sort of capacity.
Oh yeah.
Not that I needed more, but you got a little ass on the movie.
Hey, power stance too.
Oh yeah.
And he told him there too, like to Trav's point earlier of like being dominant. If I can't get a goddamn moment of silence to mourn my son, butt naked, like I'm going to kill all of you again. Like he just reminded them, I will kill you like I'm killing everybody else. And they did shut the fuck up, like he got what he wanted. They listened.
Apologize.
So. Didn't tall guy come up to him afterwards too, like pat him on the back or something?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
I don't know if that was Beal or if the tracker was Beal, but yeah, he definitely came up and patted him on the back there.
I think Beal was the tracker.
I don't remember.
Beal was the tracker. Lachlan was the tall guy that we're talking about.
All right. Yeah. Great segue here. Lachlan is a WWE wrestler. If you did not know.
Who?
Jonathan Huber. He is.
What's his name?
Brody Lee, I think, or Luke Harper.
No
Kurt's
way.
got that pulled up.
I got you, bud. I was prepared.
Brody.
Is that what you're talking about at the beginning?
Yep.
Your fun fact?
Yep.
Cool.
Does he still fight?
Yes.
He was in an
he died.
chamber?
No,
he died in 2020.
No way.
Whoa.
Lung condition, not COVID, is what they said.
R.I.P. man.
We're gonna have to get a little highlight.
I got a couple for you. I got a couple, like 2 or 3 fights.
R.I.P. That's crazy.
Randy Orton, Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber is badass. Like, to get involved in some of the pay-per-views and main events.
He looked
Hell of a
familiar
sell.
after you throw him into this.
He was the one guy that I thought looked familiar, but I was thinking like James Rago Geese.
Yeah.
That's who I was kind of thinking, or like Robert Bolin. Not to name drop people that we've known in our past, but like shout out to them for looking like a movie star, because that's who I was thinking of. But I did not know this guy was a WWE wrestler. Cody Rhodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big time.
R.I.P. Brody Lee, huh?
Brody Lee, R.I.P. Character did a damn good job in this movie too, but I didn't know that. That is probably the most fun fact we've had on the show.
Yeah, see, I knew the Wyatt family. So he was with Bray Wyatt. It was the character name. He also passed away. That whole group.
Yeah.
Are they alive? Because
I don't know.
Jeez.
That's another.
I didn't know he was dead.
That's another dangerous profession to be in. I know that you can say all you want about scripting and whatnot, but those guys are, and girls are, that you can't fake getting thrown off the top turnbuckle, buddy. Like, that shit hurts, and they get injured bad, and they still go through it.
Especially at their size. I don't think it's ever really talked about, but those guys are huge. Yeah. Obviously, you can see that, but it changes the scale when you're next to other big people.
No, the girls are too.
It shows too that not saying wrestling's fake or anything, but good acting, helped him.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That was his only feature film. That's
cool.
it. Mohawk was the only thing.
Yeah, R.I.P. Brody, or Brody Lee's probably not his real name.
Jonathan Huber.
Yeah, R.I.P. That's crazy. Fun fact, but yeah, R.I.P. They did a damn good job in this movie too, and to not to immediately cut back in, but to get back on track here, the Americans find the bear hole when they're tracking, or what they appear the bear could fit through that, so could a human, and then again, fancy Dan, Yancy,
get your ass in there,
send him in. Right? It ain't a question, buddy.
You were calling him useless, Alex.
Why can't Beal do it?
He's got a ton of
Beal.
uses.
Beal found him. He ain't climbing in there.
No.
Beal was a thick boy.
Yeah.
He wasn't climbing in there, so Yancey gets in there.
I love how they do that, the whole bear tunnel, because it's like it's a big opening when they first look at it, then they get close and it's small, and then he's in it and it's like a massive wormhole. And then he's getting pulled out and his feet are right there, but he's like a mile in this thing.
And he was like, it was like he was like starting to stand up once he got through the entrance, but he was also, his 2 feet were out of it.
Did you guys think of this scene like going into it once he's in that hole? Because we watched the trailer last week. Did you guys think of like, oh, this is that scene where she shows up? Yeah.
Dude,
I actually forgot.
I didn't. And even though I'd seen it in the trailer, like, awesome scene. Like, the eyes, like, well done. The eyes were cool. Now, I will say that, like, the shooting of the scene, like, Joshua being in there was kind of like, I didn't know who I was looking at a lot of times.
Yeah.
But that part where they're panning the camera over and then you just see Oak's eyes open, sick. I don't know. That's all I got. But
and she really didn't do anything. She really didn't do anything with him. She just roughed him up.
Yeah.
What do you do in the hole?
I thought there was going to be a dagger. I thought you had either a bullet in the face or a dagger to the side of the neck is what I expected. She just ruffling, toughened him up a little bit. Like, hey, you rascal.
He's probably scared shitless, dude. Can you imagine? He's stuck in a hole and that, crazy lady with crazy eyes looking at you. And
he probably did shit himself.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can't tell me
that's the expectation.
Yeah.
I was also thinking about this too. Like all they're hiking these things, and it's not flat ground where they're at. It's hills, it's mountains, it's cliffs, and it's not even playing field, even ground. Dude, your feet hurt, your legs hurt, your ass probably hurts. Not fun.
I've got a back end point about that, and I can bring it up now, but it starts to come into play as like just exhaustion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like delirious, like the delirious part of it. Like they were not built for that, and you're on enemy territory. Like,
you don't have home field gear, like you're just weighing down, hot, sweaty, nasty,
stinky.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's what I smell like right now. I'll tell you that, boys. But yeah, no, it's the exhaustion was kicking in and like progressively throughout the movie. But they do smoke them out. Incredible idea.
Yeah.
But they also, they think we got them, like that's a we got them moment. Like smoke them out. Like where are they going to go? Right. And nowhere. I would like for you, I think, and swing and a miss potentially on my part, but I think this is where you're trying to come in with the brother-sister point.
Yes, because she tells Joshua she's pregnant, and he asks her if it's Calvin's.
Right.
So, I guess looking back on it doesn't actually tell you, but I would assume no, you're not going to ask the chick that you're banging if the baby is her brother's. But still, no confirmation, so I retract a little bit, but I feel like there's clues that clue you in that they're not brother and sister.
But you definitely don't know for sure.
No.
Yeah.
Sounds like you want them to be, Trav.
You want them to not be.
You want them to not be.
Yeah, I do. I want them to not be brother and sister.
Stand
up.
I'm not saying I want them to be, but I just think in the era that we're looking at, you can't rule it out. You can't just say like, no, they definitely weren't. She was pregnant. Like, there's no way.
Right.
Like, the old videos, I'm going to be a dad. Or my sister is pregnant. Yeah. I'm going to be a dad. Nobody yells. That's what we live in now. That was not 200 years ago.
Wikipedia does say one of her lovers. Still no confirmation though. So
the Targaryens.
Oh,
that's how they purebred. I mean, that's what they did. I mean, not to pivot off to another thing, but to compare, like you didn't second guess that. Now they told you what was going on, but it happened. So yeah, she's pregnant.
We can never find out. That's okay.
No.
Yeah. Little gray
questions to be asked. Curious what you think out there, but was it or was it not her brother? Actual brother.
Hey, we need Maury Povich in this situation.
I need to know who the father is.
Situation of the little baby of the Mohawk tribe. You are not the father.
Or
you are the father.
Are the father. We need it. Somebody out there, find out for us. But that's kind of like, they're getting smoked out, and then Oak's like, dig.
Yeah. Let's dig 3 feet of solid dirt.
Dude, and it wasn't 3 feet.
I bet you it's pretty mossy. I can see where there's a point where you could probably dig out, but they're so close to those guys that they'd be able to see them dig anywhere.
Well, you hear them.
Yeah.
They were kind of fucking off, though, like thinking they got it.
Yeah.
Like,
that is true.
Them out.
True.
Like I think they said something like, I think there's smoked pork in there or something, like, whatever. I don't know what they said, but it was something along those lines. Like they were just kind of like chilling, waiting for him to come out, and they're digging with their hands, not tools.
I think they had a knife.
They had a hatchet.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, they had like a hatchet because they get out the back, and also like you got to imagine it is a man-made hole, so whatever the covering is of it is probably also not like solid ground, because they had traps and stuff throughout the movie that were in the woods, so like it could have been more just dirt that was like an igloo but made out of dirt.
True.
So they could have just dug out and it wasn't as solid.
And the smoke most likely wouldn't have just immediately went in there. Like
I made that point too, Trav.
So it's not going to. You're really going to have to fan it in there or blow it in there, which I don't think they really did. Or
they actually showed that. So again, minor details, but yeah, they light that fire at the mouth of the cave or the hole, and then I'm sitting there like, that's not going to do shit. Like that won't go in there. If it goes in, it's going to go right back out.
If they open it up on the other side and let the air come through, that's when the
true. And they showed that too. Again, minor details.
Yep.
Question for you guys though: when we watched a trailer and the hand pops up, did you guys think it was like undead hand?
That's
where my mind went watching the trailer. So like actually seeing it in the movie, I'm like, oh, she's not dead doing this.
I didn't. I don't know if like it was just because I didn't remember that part of the. When I saw it, I remembered it. But I didn't get that vibe because I didn't remember the trailer. But I could definitely see how, because like obviously in the movie, she's not dead. So like when she pops her hand up, yeah, she's not a zombie. But no, when I was watching that trailer, I just thought this movie sucked ass.
Yeah.
So I didn't pay too much attention to what I thought was going to happen. I was just ready to tune in.
Which is huge kudos to this movie. Because I think we all felt that way. Me especially.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
I was dreading watching this film.
We wanted to veto it and spin it again. I didn't, but, we almost did.
We haven't vetoed, and I don't think we're ever going to.
No.
Thought about because we get these. That's the whole reason why we don't veto.
Yeah,
we get films where we think it's complete dog shit, and it surprises us. And I think that it gives me more appreciation for that movie. It gives us more appreciation for spinning the wheel, watching movies that we don't know nor want to actually watch based off our, preconceived notions.
Remind me again, was it 84 critic or 84 audience?
86.
86.
Critic.
86 critic.
32 right. Audience.
I'd like to see a review because I bet you the critics are more in line of what we're thinking. I don't think we can read audience reviews, do we?
We can look at it at the back end, though. Yeah, we can. I think we can, but I'm interested too because we've also we've gone back and forth on who we agree with, and I don't think we've necessarily ever firmly agreed on the critic side.
This is a weird one because I think we are.
Yeah, and usually, and especially for the three of us all to think the same thing.
Yeah.
But to the hand through with the hatchet, like this is where I was okay with the language. Like when the guy's speaking French and they don't speak French, like I was okay with that interaction.
That still pissed me off.
No, I was cool with it.
I think it's because I see horror in the description and everything, but that whole French scene, I'm like, is he warning them? Is he telling them like, hey, don't go that way, don't take the boat? I had no way of knowing. So then I Googled it. What was the French guy saying? Couldn't find anything.
You could tell in that interaction that he was terrified because then they tried to barter with the hatchet. He wasn't telling him to take the boat. Before continuing that scene, though, I have to mention that when the Americans realized that they got away because they saw the smoke coming through the hole, something that I didn't notice until this point, and then I saw it again later, is that they kept yelling like a combination of cuss words with the word fire. It's like, oh, shit fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then later he's like, oh, hellfire. Like, it was always something fire. And like, I thought it was elite. Like, that was funny. Those little one-liners. But to the Frenchman's point, like, I was okay with that interaction because like I said earlier, the movie's called Mohawk. So if they're speaking Mohawk, you would expect to be able to know what they're saying. The French guy wasn't going to be able to communicate with any of them. Anybody that was important in the movie, he was like a cameo. And then they try to barter. The guy doesn't know what they're talking about. And if you're going to barter with a weapon, maybe not throw it at him like you're trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Just freaking hucks that thing at his feet. Like, dude, what are you doing? The guy's already terrified.
But you got to get out of there. And to your point of exhaustion, here, take the hatchet. I'm taking your boat. I'll see you later.
But I don't think, to my point of exhaustion, I wasn't talking about Joshua and Oak. I'm talking about the Americans. They're not used to this. So, like, yeah, they're gassed, but they're not. This is not
delirious. Yeah,
they're fine. Like, yeah, they're probably tired and out of breath, but they're not the ones that are trekking in unfamiliar territory.
True.
Did you guys think the French guy was French Jesus?
No.
You didn't give that vibe at all?
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, never mind.
Get back on defense, dude. Yeah. That was not planned, and we both just crushed that basketball reference there. No, but he tries to kill him like everybody else. Like, throw the gun, they get in the boat. He's got one shot, remember?
He probably had the best. He had the best angle, footing.
You can't miss that shot.
And he completely whiffed.
Wasn't his shot decent? Wasn't it decent or no?
The camera cut right as he shot, so I don't think we saw exactly where it went, but he missed for sure.
Yeah.
The guy's probably nervous. I'll give him that.
Shitting.
Yeah.
Probably pissing and shitting, probably.
Yeah.
And then you get introduced for the first time from the trailer to the masks, because it's kind of like a vision, where like the whatever dead animal masks, and like those things were tough. Like, cool. You didn't really. It was kind of like visions, right? Like none of
Mm-hmm.
You never saw the people that were in those night scenes, because it was broad daylight, and I thought to myself, like, it's already nighttime. Then it cut back and it was daytime again, but like they had to be visions.
They did that a couple times where it's like they're laying down to go to bed and the sun's still out and everything. I was just like, timing's a little weird. But definitely visions.
Yeah.
I think it was actually visions of the future. And the first or second time they showed the shaman, I'll say, I'll call it that. I thought that it was Oak.
Yeah.
The moment that she said she was pregnant, and then they showed the shaman with like blood on her on the legs and everything, and had the skirt, I was like, oh, that's Oak. So it's probably something in the future.
Mm-hmm. I was with you. I was vibing.
I thought there was multiple people, though. Maybe it was just because of the camera angles you were getting. I thought there was like multiple people in the visions. But maybe it was one. I don't know. Irrelevant, but
it doesn't matter.
They didn't ever come into play.
There was the main one with the deer skull, and I think that was kind of what we're focused on.
Right, and then they take the boat to the mission they've been trying to get to the whole time to escape, because mom's dead. Backup plan is to go to the uncle in order to get backup and go to war. And they get in, and it's just a ghost town. And her cousins and her uncle, they find them. I think they said there were supposed to be 12 people there.
Yeah, 12 is the number, I think.
And they found 4 dead. And it just happened to be her cousins and uncle.
Who killed them?
I think Holt.
Yeah.
They killed them prior to was that prior to this story starting? That's kind of what I thought.
No,
I think the uncle killed him.
Timing is a question, but I don't think it was that far back. I think they lost him. They stumbled upon this, or knew that they were most likely going to go to this place, found these guys, and killed them. It's kind of how I read it.
I thought it was retaliation to the Calvin killing. Like, I think
and they hit that first, and then we're on their way back and ran into Joshua and co.
I think that they went hunting after Calvin killed all the Americans, and then they found the mission and killed all of them, and then the paths crossed, after that. That was kind of my take on it, because he did say, I don't know if he said it verbatim, but he alluded to the fact that because they showed up, like the Americans showed up while Oak and Joshua were at the mission, and he said basically like, we killed them.
Yeah.
So,
it's just a little confusing at that scene. I thought the uncle did it because he was like in a, just some rogue, warrior type deal. So I must have missed the explanation in there. So yeah, just one clarification.
No, and I think that's why when they get there and then the Americans show up, like they kind of knew where that was, and they knew that that's where they would go. So when they show up and the fight breaks out, I think that like how confident they were to be there, they had already been there. I think that's what happened. I don't know. I guess it's up for debate, but I think that's what happened, and that's how they knew how to get there. And then they found him, and immediately pin Oak's hand with a knife through, and they got some good licks in. Joshua and Oak got some licks in, but pins her hand to the cross, and then they just pummel Josh. I mean, they absolutely beat him to a pulp.
Hero exit, I think, is a perfect term for Joshua's fate. Yeah. On your knees, you're dying. This crummy, smelly dude gets up in your face to gloat, and he just right across his jugular, man. Good night. Deal.
That was sick. That was cool.
This was the gotcha scene that, like, it shouldn't have surprised me, but it kind of did. I was like, oh, this guy could die in the movie. Yeah, okay. And then when eventually she gets shot, it's like, oh, now what are we going to do? You know what I mean? Although it's still a movie.
Well, I thought it was soft that they stabbed Josh in the back. Like the whole movie was kind of body on body.
Yeah.
Like mano-y-mano
and he combat. Just sabered him.
And he just stabs him in the back. Like, that was bullshit.
But it shows his character. He has no respect.
No, because right before that, were they talking about, like, we're taking him in? Like, we have a bounty on his head. I want to get paid.
It's all been about prisoner. And now that Holt's in charge, I don't think so.
Right.
No.
Stabbed him in the back, and then he slices Beale's neck as he's going down.
Yeah.
Savage. And then the whole time, and I don't know if you guys thought this or even at all, it came across your mind, but like, if you're Oak, could she not have just used her other hand to pull the knife out?
You're trying not to die, though, so.
But you're the father of your child is going to be beaten to a pulp. Like, you're both gonna, in that moment, you're both gonna die.
No, she certainly could.
That's what you should be thinking.
Yeah.
Now she's pregnant, so like, yeah, you don't want to die, but like, do you really think you're getting out of that alive?
No chance.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's a miss by the director when they kill Oak because her hand's stuck in the cross, right? And then she dies. I thought it was going to be stuck there and like hanging. And then it cuts away and it just falls off. Yeah, I know that certainly is the case, and I thought of that after that. But I was like, man, that would have been a powerful scene to have like her body hanging there and still stuck to the cross. Just thought it was kind of a miss with everything, and I chuckled when they zoom away and she's.
Well, you bring up a good point because you mentioned like when she died. Like, did she die?
Had to have.
Yes, I think
Had to have.
Because the baby died, it was like a sacrifice, and that allowed her to be reincarnated. So I think that's kind of where the disconnect for me in this movie is, came about, because like, was it a ritual that it's a blood sacrifice, and then she gets, vengeance powers?
Definitely spirits involved. For sure.
Yeah, I think they didn't really explain that too well.
Face.
So you're telling me, you both, when you watch this movie, from when she was back, you thought she was a ghost?
No, I thought she got brought back to life.
Yeah, I thought she was reincarnated. Like,
Just brought back to life.
Like, yeah.
Like Jon Snow,
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
So we're talking about there's no way Calvin and Oak can be brother and sister. There's no chance of that. But there's a chance that she just is reincarnated. Like, 50 Cent got shot 13 times.
Geese is talking about that.
And 50 Cent got shot, 13 times? 9. He lived. 9 times? 50 times? He's still going.
Stabbed in the heart?
No, she got shot in the chest, but like...
Oh, yeah, in the heart. It was like right here.
Did you have X-ray vision?
Your heart. Yeah.
X-ray vision over there? Like, we don't know if she got hit in the heart.
You do have an argument on if she did or didn't die.
I watched it as if she didn't die. I know he called her a ghost. Yeah. Okay.
I thought she died because of the ending, though. Like, she's getting beat the fuck up. Not the jump, but she just keeps coming back like she's undying.
We'll get there. But you bring up a good point. But it's going to be an interesting debate. But I watched it as if she just didn't die.
Let us know.
What, she just built different?
If you're listening and watching this right now, and you watch this movie, what'd you think? Is she dead or alive?
Ricky Pearsall. Do you know who that is?
2 to the chest.
No.
Ricky Pearsall was a rookie wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers last year. Broke up a kind of a street fight, something.
Oh, no. I know what you're talking about.
A kid tried to steal the watch off his wrist, and then he got shot in the chest, through the chest, and then played in the NFL in the same season. So you can't tell me that just because she got shot in the chest means she died.
But there's also stuff later on, like Geese is saying, like
we'll get
spiritual.
There.
It's
we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah, the context of the movie disagree with your point.
We're gonna find out because I'll argue that too. But when she does come back, she goes Mohawk.
Yeah,
starts chopping the hair.
Sick.
Which I thought at first she just chopped off one side when he saw her, but I think it was just kind of how her hair was laying because I do think it was a Mohawk.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay,
100% Mohawk.
And she was bleeding from the head. Like, that's not an easy cut.
Pretty much scalped herself to do it.
Yeah. And then that's when we got Hellfire.
Hellfire.
And that Colonel Holt is just telling these guys they can't rest. And that's when you really started to get the vibes of the delirious. Exhaustion. They are fucked out here on enemy territory. And he's just not letting them take a break. Like, they've been trekking for God knows how long.
Yeah, because they had, at one point, I don't know if it was 3 of them at this point, but he mentions they got like 50 miles to go. 60 miles.
Private, tall guy, wrestler, and Colonel.
Yep. No. Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, dude, we got like 50, 60 miles. I looked that up. That's 20 hours walking. These guys have been all over the place.
They got to make the same walk as the guy in It Comes at Night.
Yeah. And they had a car.
Yeah. And probably a change of clothes.
Yeah. And
probably.
And we shoes. Know a shower. And a shower.
Yeah.
I will say their clothes look pretty crispy for all the trekking they've been doing. They must have been washing them. But those were starch white still.
Yeah, the underneath. But I don't know. But the no resting. And like the weird part about that was they kept getting like oddly separated. Like
Spirit of the Woods.
That was the delirious part. I was like, okay, they have to just be delirious or something. Like they're walking further than they think than what they're showing us. Because like you're in the woods again. You're not just getting separated. Like you're going through, like people are dying. You're not going to just get separated. And I guess
there's no way to tell direction either. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. It's like to your point of like the spirits is like Yancey disappears.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue spirit, or you could argue my point of exhaustion, where they just didn't notice it. Like she
both could probably play both parts.
I didn't consider the exhaustion. Yeah, I was just like, it's spiritual. She's there. She's not. Total Rambo style. picking these guys off in the middle of the woods.
I was thinking exhaustion. Like, they don't know. They're not coherent. Like, they're not. They don't. The movie does a good job of like hiding that, I guess, because they're talking and whatnot, but like you're not getting separated like that. And I didn't think spirit ever. I just thought that was when the hallucination, some of that stuff started to kick in because it's been such a long day. They're not eating. They're drinking some creek water, but they're not. I think they were just like delusional.
Yeah.
And I think she was picking them off one by one.
I think that's good input.
I do think both could be true.
I agree. I didn't think about your point.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't think about that, and I definitely could see it. But that's how I watched it. So that's why I was interested when you said that, because now I'm thinking about that too. But both could definitely be true. It's open for interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's know what you think. But could you imagine being Lachlan? When
it was kind of in his point of view too of this woods walk, and I think that was a really good idea of doing it from his point of view.
Another little appreciation for the movie: the camera shake. They're running, camera shaking. It's not just set and forget. Like, and it just makes you like that POV. You're like you're running with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Small details, very common theme, and I think we will probably see more movies that are going to be low budget or not your run-of-the-mill theater movies. Side note, if you didn't know, Trev, I think you didn't. This is completely not related to the scene, but this movie was about 1.8. From what I saw, that could be a made-up number. Took one source on the internet. Internet never lies. This movie never released in theaters, obviously.
Right.
And all they did was sell DVDs and like discs, and it made like $10,000.
That's why I don't know. There's another because I tried looking up the budget and everything, and are you sure it's the right Mohawk? I just don't see how you spend 1.8 million on this.
First source on the internet can't lie, so I don't know.
Right. Sure,
I could be wrong.
Good point.
But yeah, I agree. Like $10,000.
The $10,000 you're probably getting is from physical sales.
That's all it did.
That's all it did.
It's streaming wise still. Wouldn't you think Amazon would have to pay for those rights and would at least pay a little bit?
That's a good point.
But like $10,000, yeah. I mean, yeah, 1.8 million seems like it's wrong.
Based off the fashion of everything, I would say that budget was pretty low.
Yeah.
Based on the fashion, you'd think it was just like something posted on Facebook to get together for a reenactment.
Yeah.
Right.
High school project.
I just thought that was interesting because it was only the income, and I think there's probably numbers out there for streaming, Trav, but the income that I saw was just literally just selling.
That's what I saw.
The DVDs and stuff. So interesting, but Lachlan walks up to Yancey's head on a friggin' spike. And at that point, you're shitting yourself again. You're down to 2. You're separated. You're absolutely fucked. There's nothing you have left. You're dehydrated. You haven't eaten, and she's picking you off one by one.
Oh yeah, and I love this. I love how they set it up too, and it's the classic you see him partially around the corner. Oh hey. Thought you lost you back there, buddy.
Yeah, yep.
What happened to you?
I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that. And I also wrote down, and this goes to my delusion point, is like I literally, in the moment, and you guys obviously I don't think thought about this, but they were probably tripping balls because that's what happens. Like if you don't sleep or you're that dehydrated or exhausted, like that happens. So I was like, these guys are tripping balls.
Well, they were hearing. Was he hearing stuff too? Like whistles.
That's when I wrote it down. Is like he's like the guy he's in his own head,
and
then he comes up on a head on a spike of his buddy, the irrelevant guy Yancey.
Perfect ending of his life, too, by the way.
Yeah,
randomly. He had the worst death.
Oh yeah,
yeah. No,
cut up.
Well,
in terms of getting your head cut off, he was the only one that did it. So
yeah. Right, and then I think Holt comes back.
Yeah.
Because Lachlan starts running and falls in the trap, which is why I was talking about the tunnel earlier of like probably soil or something, like not soil, but like softer dirt to dig through. Falls in the trap. He's got a bum leg, and like he's talking about like they're just gonna cut it off. Yeah. Like, isn't that crazy? And this is another point I think about this movie. Though, like the wounds that they have at this period of time, there's no medicine for that. Like they're gonna die because they get a flesh wound.
Yeah, right.
So
that trap would work on me for sure.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Full speed, and you're getting me like calf deep into a hole, and it stops. My shin's snapping for sure.
Yeah, because your body, it was just a hole, right? It wasn't like a, and so your body
was one of those.
And it's not big, so your leg goes straight down. So then your body weight's going forward, and
momentum, and it's just heel toe.
Your knee is absolutely done. Depending on how deep it is. To your point, depending on how deep the hole is, like shin or knee, but whatever body part stops at the top is snapped in half.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? Because that type of trap reminds me of the I think it's the Vietnamese floor traps. There's that one video where the guy's sticking the stick through all the different types. No way you're pulling that leg out, man.
Right.
Because of the way it's set up, it rotates, grabs you. You're locked in. Like there's no way to get that out except by, right. Fully disabling it.
Yeah, we're in agreement. It's just a hole, right?
Yeah. There's nothing else in there. But his leg was already in a brace, which
I think was it the same? It was the same leg, right?
It was the brace knee, leg. But like, did they have those?
No, he had one on.
No, I know, but did they have those in 1814?
Nah, they didn't have steampunk goggles either. What Beale was wearing, so. We took some liberties.
I don't know.
I think a knee brace is possible. A knee brace is possible for sure. It might have been a little more high tech than what they had, but
it looked like Lane Johnson was going out there in that knee brace. Like that's just not
like something he wears in WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just is not.
I hear you.
I don't think they had those.
Saying hated is probably too strong of a word. This was the worst scene for me.
Yeah.
He pulls his leg out of there, all mangled.
Sloppy.
And he just, come on, buddy, we gotta go.
The way he was limping out, like you're not even touching that. You're not even touching.
Very scary movie-esque. All right, you're good.
I didn't feel that way. I just thought, like, what else are you going to do? Like, you can't leave him there.
I thought he was going to put a bullet in his head, to be honest, just based off the character.
That would have been the other point. But I think for him to do that, Lachlan would have had to ask for it.
Yeah, and I do like that they did the not role play, but went to military mindset. Like, you get up, private. Yes, sir, Colonel. Like,
I think he would have left him, but he wasn't going to kill him. You know what I mean? Like, I think he was going to give him every opportunity to get up and fucking walk.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was going to put a bullet in his head unless Lachlan asked for it.
I agree.
That loyal of a captain. Like, he was crazy, but he wasn't going to kill his own guy. I mean, he said it multiple times, but he wasn't going to just put a bullet in his head and leave him, like, unless he said, like, just put me down. But I didn't get the vibe of, we're seen. I thought, like, you got. I mean,
just because how he put the leg back, man. Like,
I'm with you, Geese. Like, I think if he would have been just dragging it along and just been one leg in it,
or don't show the injury. Right. I feel like there's a better way to do it than just snap that bitch. Like, dude, that is a completely broken fucking leg.
Compound fracture, probably sticking through the skin. Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, that thing, there's no connection. Exactly. And then,
yeah.
But
the brace worked wonders.
Yeah. Well, and to your point about the fatigue, Brennan, you got all of that going.
Yeah.
And now you got this.
You got some adrenaline going.
and he's still got 50 miles to go. Fuck that.
Oh, he probably would have rather him put a bullet in his head than what happened 10 seconds later when he gets stabbed in the fucking side of the head with an arrow.
Okay, yes. I was just going to say, like, that's the next thing that happens, right? Do we think that this is... I'm going to question you now, Brendan. Do you think this is the spirit type thing now that we're talking about it? Because he would have seen her in whatever the thing she was wearing and been able to chase, been able to interact. What do you... This whole scene kind of confused me on...
You mean after the fact?
Yes. Because it's getting dark, right?
That was my thought, was that it's getting
not
dark
enough where like he should be able to see it and know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Here's my
You can counterpoint me.
Rebuttal.
Yeah.
Rebuttal. He's lost all of his men.
True.
They get separated again. To my thought, exhaustion, delirium, whatever. The guy's limping. He can't keep up with him. He's in front of him again. And then he disappears, goes back for him, finds him, turns the corner. We're not going to live. Like, that's the last thing you hear this guy say is like, we're not going to make it out of here, whatever he said. And then bang, stabbed to the side of the head. Like, and then he's in shambles. Like, everybody's dead now. It's one-on-one. He doesn't see her. She's behind the tree. Probably starts moving. He doesn't have the energy to take off after because you see him take off all of his clothes and like get lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that was what I thought was, he shedded all the weight to get lighter, to be more agile. Like, now it's just me.
Yeah, one-on-one type thing. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't understand why he got rid of his weapons because he dropped all his weapons. I thought that too. Yeah.
Weird.
But he shedded all that weight because now it's like, it's just him and she's killed everybody I have. So I didn't think of, again, I never once thought spirit. Not once.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't disagree with it, but during, like, to my point of view of the watching it, never thought it. So, but he did shed all of his.
Yeah, I do think now that you're saying it, her physical being was there, but I think she's powered by this spiritual thing now that she's back and at it and with the Mohawk. That's how I'm seeing the movie at this point.
Yeah, I just don't think she died. That's where the disconnect is like, if I thought she died, I would be all with you. But I don't think she died because you're not going to just kill her.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there is,
now that you're saying it,
there's a lot of spiritual culture behind Native Americans that we've all learned about. So I get the thought of the plot and that being involved, but I didn't see it that way. And I agree with you. I see it too that way. I never thought about that.
Yeah, everything's 50-50. You really think about it.
Yeah. There's probabilities, not even a real thing.
Right.
It's 50-50. Everything's 50-50.
Wikipedia says Oak survives the injury.
Says.
Mark that up on the board for a geeseism.
There's a bonk list on Pardon My Take. We got a geeseism list on extra butter.
Yeah.
Wikipedia says.
Survey says she survived.
All right. Bravo, Brendan.
The scene that leads into him getting kind of disoriented, doesn't know where he's going. He arrives back at camp. I thought that was Fort George.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
No, you're right. I thought it was the mission.
Oh, yeah. See, I thought it was Fort George, and that he comes back to camp, and the other tribe members already blew it up. But it's not Fort George. It is the camp that Calvin attacked at the beginning. So it took me a little bit to get there, but when he starts talking about, knowing the people that were there previously,
similar scenery. I hear you. Similar scenery.
Well, we never saw Fort George.
Mm-hmm.
Like he says, he was like, this can't be right. And I thought it was the mission where they killed the Native Americans. And then when he's seeing all the people and talking about the boys and like the kids and whatever, like that's when I realized, oh, this is where Calvin killed everybody. But he just got lost like in the woods and ended up back to somewhere he'd already been. And then we went mano a mano.
And this is where I die on the hill that it's spiritual, because she's getting up from the ground after getting her ass kicked like Bob Barker and Happy Gilmore.
That's a crazy point, because where I would give you credit is if you would have said when she pushed him and he went 15 yards backwards.
Again, I added to the list.
That is where I was like, okay, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Not that she took the hatchet straight to the chest and just.
She had body armor on. She had like body armor on.
It stuck in her.
Dude, look at his background. Brennan, move your head.
Yeah.
That's what she was wearing.
It hit her in the bones of what she was wearing. Like it wasn't flesh wound. No blood came out.
Right.
It was dark. Can't tell that.
I have eyes.
Yeah, can't tell. Well, probably under the armor, blood was out there.
The throw was crazy.
I really liked this scene in their back and forth dialogue, but he was the only one speaking. I thought that was cool. Like, it's like they had a conversation, but he's the only one that said anything. I think that was kind of cool.
Well, until he rips her fucking hand in half.
Yeah.
And that goes, I think that's a point towards Brendan. Because that whole time I thought she was possessed, and then you get the screaming, which is very being alive, we'll say.
Reaction, yeah.
And that's where I was like, I questioned it at that point specifically because of the pain factor.
I'm in the position that it's both. I'm leaning towards she didn't die, but there's a spiritual kind of factor of the Mohawk putting the skull on, and we missed the point of her discovering the skeleton with a mother deer with her baby deer that both died. Like, we missed that part, and that was kind of like the spiritual.
Well, she has the visions too,
and the
so how do we tie the visions in?
She fell down the hill though. She didn't just stumble up. I mean, she technically fell into it, but like, and I'll tell you to your point, like, that's called grit. That's not called spirit. That's called grit.
Okay, so
I
then
feel like
are we going
to
call grit throwing a guy 15 feet?
No, but you guys didn't use that to your advantage. I brought that up. I was giving you that.
You
point.
sank your own shit there, Cat.
You gave me a point. I gave you a point. I didn't think shit, buddy. If you're going to give me points, take my points.
I'm on both teams.
Well, that's
I'll take all the
of you.
I just hope everybody has fun.
Yeah.
Go team. I'm on both teams. That's we don't like that. We don't like that. But this scene was kind of sick. And to your point, the handbrake, like that was the only point in the movie that got me.
Did your hands?
I physically reacted to that. That was nuts. That was bad. And I thought it was her hand, and then the way she reacted, I thought it was his hand, and I couldn't tell. But I'm like, I mean, rip that sucker in half. Ooh. That was so hard to watch. So hard to watch.
Yeah, the other point of this scene too, and before that, she wasn't using her hand much. Did you guys notice that? I mean, obviously it makes sense more and more now. I'm leaning towards Brendan's side. Like, that shit hurt. She wasn't just whatever. Dude, she was not using it. She was not grabbing shit. She probably cut that dude's head off with one arm, stabbed him with the head of the one arm, you know?
And to the death, like when she got her hand snapped in half, like literally torn in half, and then bullied him into the tree branch to end him off. That was that scene was kind of tough. Like a lot of the action in that scene was not great, but like the ending of the handbrake into the death, I thought they did that well, and I felt like that was where I was physically like involved because I was like this, like kind of like. I wasn't laughing, but I'm like, okay, this is kind of where this all shit hits the fan, and this is the low budget to it, and then the hand ripped in half into the push onto the tree branch of death. Like I was locked in.
I love the camera angle of from the tree branch, watching it come towards you, and you're like, oh shit, and
then, good movie death right there.
Yeah, I thought all the deaths were really good, honestly, outside of probably the no-name tribal member guy who just, took one in the chest really quick, and that was it.
But it wasn't like a crazy like death scene. It was still realistic. We just didn't know. Yeah. And I wanted to get back to my point, or my giving myself more points of this whole Pan dilemma we got going on. When at the end, and this is where you guys almost had me on your side, when she was standing in the smoke, and then the family surfaced from the shadows of the woods, I thought she was going to disappear. Oh. And she didn't. And she did.
But she's still physical. She's just like she's being possessed.
Yeah, I'm not in the realm of she wasn't a physical being.
Yeah, she is a physical being
by something is kind of what my argument.
And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I didn't know that because you guys said it. I'm saying I would have been all in on that point if she vanished in the smoke. Like that's where I was getting to the point where like, okay, this is a spiritual thing, and she just stood tall. So I don't know. Open for interpretation. Clearly, this low budget film made us feel some type of way, and we watched it in two different perspectives from like
they both work.
Yeah, and I could believe both sides because I watched it from mine, and what you guys are saying makes complete sense to me. And I don't know. I really don't know, but I wish she would have vanished in the smoke because then it would have been a done deal.
I think it would have been cool.
If she vanished, it would have further proven the
right. But maybe it's open ended on purpose.
Has to be. They killed it for what they had.
But I think that would have been a good scene for her to kind of disappear and then all the armor just kind of falls down. Like I think that would have been pretty sick.
I'm curious now why the audience score was so low. I understand it. And even from somebody who watched the trailer and was like, God, I'm really not looking forward to watching this movie, I enjoyed it. So, where are we missing?
I think my immediate thought is it's not your modern film.
Also, how many reviews did it get? Because not many people watched it.
Kurt, can we pull
Probably
that up?
Not much. But I think, Trav, while we're waiting on that, like, I think it's because it's not a modern film. Like the action scenes and stuff, like it's low budget, it wasn't shot like that. I don't think that it was
100 reviews.
Looked at well, 100 plus.
And 42 tomato meter reviews.
Not many people are watching this movie, Trav.
No.
Yeah.
I know.
So small sample size is probably skewing the reviews here. I can see why a lot of people passed it up. I think it's a good watch.
Yeah.
It's not bad. We didn't bring this up last time, and this is where I guess I'll question the good watch. I agree it's a good watch, but there's not, like we've talked about in the past, of situations to watch this movie. What would you say, like, if you're looking for this or you're in this situation, like, check out Mohawk?
I don't know if it has
that's tough.
I don't know if it has one. I think it's a good movie to stumble across. I don't know. I think I only recommend it to someone that likes these types of movies. It says horror. I don't agree with that. It's survival action. A little Rambo in there. I don't know if I recommend it, though.
Frat boys, 2 a.m., drunk, Topper's Pizza. Watch this.
Yeah, my thought was, like, if you crush movies, like if you're like us and just watch a shit ton of movies and you're like just dying to see something new, like this is 1,000% worth watching.
Yeah,
I would agree. If you've seen a bunch and if you're somebody who's
just don't watch the trailer first.
Yeah, you can't watch a trailer.
Don't watch the trailer.
The trailer's going to turn you
Even though we showed it, don't watch it.
I think if you're to the 2 a.m. point, like if you're scrolling through movies and you come up on Mohawk with the skull, like just the thumbnail, you're gonna click on it, and you might turn it off in 10 minutes.
No, but the opening parts are actually good. Like it'll hook you. You know
These
what I mean?
Fries are really good.
Yeah. The only thing that would put you off is that it's low budget. But if you don't give a shit about that, which you shouldn't,
and I think to our credit, I think people that will watch this movie would recommend it. Like, give me some kind of random movie recommendation. I've got one I think you've never seen.
No, I got one I know you haven't seen.
Yeah. Mohawk, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah,
but you had to set the standard. You had to set the expectation. To my point at the beginning, all these movies and all these reviews that we're going to do, there's something that we have to recognize of the expectation going into it. Because if we would have thought this movie was going to be really good, I think our perceptions maybe would have changed.
Oh, yeah.
And it was completely different from the other three. I mean, there's nothing similar, which was cool.
It's got like a historic, realistic concept to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it was not a horror movie.
Right.
Definitely shot in the dark that turned out well.
Warcraft.
I'm glad we put this on the wheel because we never would have picked this movie.
No, we almost got rid of it.
Yeah.
Right.
We had a couple haters in the chat.
Props to us, though, for keeping it going.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right. Oh, yeah. No mulligans.
This is what it's all about.
No breakfast balls on this podcast. Overall, final thoughts. I know we kind of just did that. Again, I think we'd all agree that we would probably recommend this in a certain circumstance to somebody to watch. If you're looking for something new, I hope you watched it before listening. And if you didn't, go check it out. Not a bad movie, free on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, give us some comments too. You know, give us some comments, give us some feedback of whatever everybody else thinks too. What we have differing opinions about a bunch of pieces of this movie. Well, let us know what you think. That's why we're talking about it.
I want to know who thought she was alive and who thought she was power embodied by a spirit, because I didn't even think about that till now.
I will say that the movie, like, oh man, the fashion kind of pulls me out of it. Whatever the hell Oak is wearing, garbage. But outside of those little ticky-tacky things, the steampunk goggles, like whatever creative direction the director took with a few items, I think this movie kind of holds up. I mean, it is 2017, low budget, don't get me wrong. But, you know, I think if we watched it in 10 years, I think we have the same opinions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that because this movie came out in 2018, the message and the story and the plot are gonna you can't take that away. Like, this movie can't fall off because this is always it's not based on a true story, but I think we've talked about this in other movies. Like, it's not based on a true story, but it probably was at some point.
Realistic components. Yeah.
Yeah. So good. Go watch Mohawk. I never would have said that. Never would have thought I was going to say that when we found out we were watching it last week.
Hopefully you watched it before.
And I hope there's one of you out there, one person that's already seen it.
Yeah.
Is there somebody out there that's already watched this movie and tell us what you think?
True.
I'd be shocked. But with series finales comes series rankings. And we've watched 4 movies. Now we have to rank the 4. And I know that we haven't done this before because the 4th episode of the first series is gone forever. So now you'll finally get a chance to hear our real rankings, real time of our series of 4, Man vs. People, Rotten Tomatoes, Critics vs. Audience. We're going to treat this like a baseball lineup and go with the speedy guy first in the top 4. Trav, you look like the fastest guy. Let's hear it.
I'm definitely not the fastest on foot in reality, but I'll give you my rankings the fastest. Drag Me to Hell, Warcraft, Mohawk, Comes at Night.
I'll go second. What Trav said. Drag Me to Hell, Warcraft, Mohawk. It Comes at Night, whatever the fuck that movie is called. Horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And a side note before we get to Geese, we are ranking every movie we've watched in a running list. I am trying to get these guys to get it too on our data sheet. This one comes in above It Comes at Night, and so does all the other movies, because It Comes at Night will just continue to drop. It's not going to ever sniff. I can't wait to watch the movie worse than that. Because that one's locked. There's a locked cell, and it just drops every time I add a movie to it. Even if I put one below it, it'll automatically jump above it. So
I'm going to get in there and rank mine.
Same rankings. Same. Geese.
So I'm going based off enjoyability, which is Mohawk, Warcraft, Drag Me to Hell, It Comes at Night.
Wow.
I really like this movie, dude. I'm kind of giving it a pass on the shit that sucked, but overall, I think the story was the best.
I think Trav and I just vote on or rank on vibes, probably.
Just vibes.
And And I don't think I have any position to challenge you on your theory of ranks, Geese, but I'm going to.
You don't? No.
Enjoyability in Warcraft
is that a word?
I don't doubt it. Might be. Sounds good. Warcraft's not number one?
Right.
No, because campy, bring back that word, just the way that they do it and film those types of movies, it passed me on that. Like, give me more Lord of the Rings style than like ultra fantasy, because you get the bulky armor. The CGI was great in that movie, but the same reasons I didn't like Drag Me to Hell are the same reasons that the same critiques I have for Warcraft is that it's like just bad acting.
Yeah.
Vibes. No.
Vibes. I am I'm not pissed, but the fact that our ranks are the same I'm not shocked.
Vibes.
Pretty on par. Vibes. That's all you gotta say. Check them out. Rank them yourself. I mean, we would love to hear from you guys on what you thought if you've watched these. And we hope that you do. We like to try to post early on in the week so you guys get a chance to watch before you listen. And if you haven't watched before you listen, check it out.
We'll get a poll on X, huh? We'll get a poll on X, maybe Instagram, and see what everybody thinks.
X, the Everything app?
Everything. And I think everything happens there.
Yeah, you're the media.
Right.
So let's get a poll out. 4 movies, rank them. If we get 0 responses, that'd be sick, dude. Give us one. Somebody out there, let's hear it. Rank them. Blind rank them. I don't care. Then go watch them, then re-rank them. All that stuff works. But overall, I like to think that this was a pretty solid theme.
Yeah,
I don't know what you guys thought. I know.
Loved it.
I know I've taken the reins on that. Now Crit and I tag team it, and I'm very excited for what's about to come here at the end of the podcast in terms of the new wheel and the new theme. But I enjoyed this theme. I know we've gone with IMDb Top 100. I know we've got some special features backlogged in terms of some Oscar stuff that we're excited to share with you guys. But in terms of discrepancies, like, we're going to get movies like this because you don't get like a solid movie that has more than a 30% discrepancy on in terms of like a solid movie is going to be 10%, 5%, 15%. So hope you guys enjoyed it, but we are excited to announce to you what's next. And Trav and Geese, I know, do not have an idea of what me and Crit pieced together. And I want to revisit something I've mentioned maybe 3 times, or as Heidi Klum would say, 3 times. We're getting a lot of hoopla from the audience about it. I would love to watch your podcast if I had seen the movie. I'd love to listen. I haven't seen that movie. Guys, go watch the movie.
It's not that hard.
Not at all.
I'm pretty sure we tell them where to watch it. Yeah?
Exactly. Maybe we don't. Maybe we should.
But it's not
we tell each other.
Let the record show.
Right. Maybe we should start just to give you a little heads up. But we took the criticism. We want to know. We want listeners. We want to hear feedback. We want interaction. So we took the criticism to heart, and we want to take this opportunity to introduce a new wheel. Now, Crit, before you show it, I want to say there's been probably all 4 of these movies, maybe one. Like, the average human maybe has seen one of these 4, maybe 2. This wheel is going to introduce some names of movies that you've probably heard of, you've probably seen, and we wanted to get a chance to interact with you guys. So we listened, we opened it up, and without further ado, Chris, show them the wheel of the next theme of summertime movies, the top summertime movies of all time. We looked at a lot of different sources, we gathered a lot of different data, and we compiled a list of 20. So moving forward, we're going to cap the wheel at 20 before we get an opportunity to add 50. So you guys can at least kind of read it. You can't because we got to edit the wheel. You can't read any of those things. However, we want to get a chance to interact with you guys on some movies that you've seen. Some of us have probably seen these. Some of us maybe haven't.
Keep going.
But we're moving into the summertime movies series of 4. And what's going to happen next? And we're going to cut the trailer out, guys. I don't know if we've updated you on this, but trailer doesn't work. Go watch it on your own. You're going to see what movie we're about to pick right now. And
I want a prediction again. I want that $1 bet.
We're going to do the prediction. I think Chris, the reason I would imagine Chris pulled this off, or he just put it in the chat. So let's everybody take a look.
Yep. And remember that we are pooling each week. So this is week 2, I believe.
Jesus, it's your responsibility. Geese, you got to track the pot because I already forgot about that.
I mean, we're at 2. I will keep track of it, and then whenever it pays out, we'll just do bulk.
What's the pot right now?
$2 each, so 6.
So 8. There's 4.
Are we keeping? We're doing Kurt too. Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with Parent Trap.
I'm going Goonies. Movie.
I want to start this off by being pissed off that I called Mohawk 2 shows ago and then didn't call it again and then it hit. So
yeah,
do it a third time.
So you got Goonies, you got Parent Trap. I am going to go with National Lampoon's Vacation.
Oh, I would love that. Ooh. I didn't want to pick it because I wanted it to.
I really want Heavyweights.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to go with Brennan's suggestion on the wheel, which was Wet Hot American Summer.
My eyes were on that as well.
Woo!
I
fucking love that movie. To talk about that would just make my life. We can't see the wheel. And we've got some technical difficulties on the back end here.
Yeah, he just says, "Oh, would you look at that? It landed on Wet Hot American Summer."
What was the pot? $500? Is that $500 pot that I heard? Man, what do you guys think about the theme while we're waiting for Crit?
I dig it.
What is the theme?
Summer
movies.
Summer movies. Okay, I thought summer. If you said it, I missed it. If you didn't, I need clarification.
I really want to watch Caddyshack.
Trav, huh? Did I clearly say the theme?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to read the fucking spinny wheel and with all the names on it while you were doing that.
Caddyshack, Dirty Dancing, Days Confused,
Grease. Give me Grease.
National Lampoons, RV, Great Outdoors, and Weekend at Bernie's. Those 7. If I can get 2 out of those,
Weekend at Bernie's was the last fucking minute.
Love it.
Option.
Weekend at Bernie's was the last second.
I said 20, and I definitely counted 19. So.
Yep. We did 20 was around. We were thinking
during the pod.
Yeah, we did. You did. We did count 19 before.
You're like, I think it was. We want 20. I was like, I counted it during the pod. I was like, oh fuck, we're at 19.
We were doing this prior. Good podcasting.
Keep them on their toes.
Yeah.
Good podcasting right here, guys. We were counting this prior to building the wheel because Trav and Geese don't see the wheel before we get on here. The theme's a surprise to everybody. And I'm like, how many do we have? And Crit's like, 19. I'm like, all right, let's just add one more. So we added Thelma and Louise. So then to his point, now we've got Weekend at Bernie's because we only had 18. So Kid can't even read.
Kurt,
you spun you've spun this wheel twice now. I gotta know what
Can
it
we get the wheel?
On. I gotta know what it landed on.
No. Let's get the wheel.
Parent Trap.
I don't want anybody to get it because I want the pot to build.
I want it to give that like $100.
If it doesn't build, I want it to go to me. You know?
I found my movie, but I'm probably gonna lose it while it spins.
Just repeat everybody's movie.
Parent Trap for Trav. Parent Trap.
I got Goonies.
National Lampoon's Vacation.
Wet Hot American Summer.
Good luck, fellas. I lost my movie.
Same.
It can always come back.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
Uh-oh.
Come on. Stop. Oh, someone's going to win. It's the Goonies. It's the Goonies. It's the Goonies.
$6
Goonies.
Boys.
That's a great opener to this series.
The Goonies.
Great opener.
We were talking about the Goonies today at work today. How about that?
Meant to be.
The Goonies is number 1 of the all-time summer classics.
The actor that plays Mouth, he visited recently that house. So it's cool. It has some type of preservation on it where if people actually live there or it's like shut off from the public, but they allowed him to go and like check it out. And so he has a photo with him at that house. And my boss is showing that to me today. So we live in a simulation, bottom line.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what I'm excited about the Goonies? Is that we've all seen it, but like it's one of those movies that there's going to be parts you forgot.
Oh,
yeah, because
sure.
you've seen it plenty of times, but like
for sure.
You don't watch it religiously. But it's one of those movies that might be on at somebody else's house when there's people over. It's just one of those movies that comes on TV, so you've seen it plenty of times. But there's any parts that you forgot.
You get a bunch of clips all the time of important parts of the movie, funny parts of the movie, whatever. But you don't, the meat and potatoes of the movie. You don't remember as much.
Well, Lexi watched this for the first time within like the last 2 years. I had to show her it. Instant classic for her.
I doubt Chelsea's seen it. She'll tell me she has. I doubt it. $2 on the way over to you, Geese. I wish the pot would have gotten bigger. But wait, is the pot $1 or is it $2 a time?
It's $1 each.
Okay, so that's
the second time we did
it. Okay, $2 on the way. Lannisters always pay their debts. Goonies, pumped. Summer classics. If you haven't seen this one, you want to talk to me about watching a movie or listening to our podcast, a movie you haven't watched the Goonies. With the birds, baby. Get out of here. Right? We don't want to hear it. If you haven't seen the Goonies, watch it now because you got an opportunity to do so. Thank you guys again for listening to us. Episode 8. Unbelievable. We're having so much fun. We want the interactions. We want to hear the shit talk. That's why we're doing the summer classics. We want movies that are relevant. If that's what you want to see, we're going to do it. Still going to incorporate movies that we haven't seen before, as you can see by the wheel. A lot of classics on there, but there's also a couple films on there that I would imagine some of us haven't seen, or some classics that that one of us has never watched before either, and we can talk shit about that. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Been another blast of an episode, and looking forward to the summer classics after we put to bed The Man versus the People, Rotten Tomatoes, critics versus audience score. It's been a fun 4. Guys, follow us on Instagram. Follow us on X, the Everything app. Everything happens on X. We're on TikTok now. Watch and listen to every episode on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Music. You can't miss us. Extra butter. We've got links in most of the bios that take you to any page that you want to see. We're going to tell you what's coming. We're going to play clips. We're going to get you anything you need to get you guys to give a little bite of some corn, right? We want to give it a little nibble. You got to get a nibble before you can start shoveling that stuff down the gullet, right? So thank you guys again for listening. We are Extra Butter, and get out to the theaters. I am your first of the podcast AMC Premiere A-List Club member. I'm going to go see a lot of movies. I'm going to have a lot of previews for you guys. Can't wait to hype some movies up, and those are also things we want to hear. If you go listen or watch a movie that we talked about, tell us what you think. Because maybe we're idiots and we got it wrong. And we're telling you it's a feel-good. We talked about Lilo and Stitch last week. Feel-good movie. I talked about Sinners. I'm still debating where it's at on my all-time movie list. Maybe you thought it sucked. Or maybe you agree with me. Let us know. We want to hear it. But you guys get there. And when I get there to order the large and I get the regular price, right? I'm still going to take it over to the button. I'm still going to get the same old big-ass bowl I got in my cabinets. And pop maybe 2 bags over Redenbacher. And when you do that, and you get the bowl at home, and you pop on Netflix, you pop on Amazon Prime to watch Mohawk, or you're sitting in front of the big screen to watch Brad Pitt in the F1 movie in a couple of short weeks, don't forget your extra butter. We'll catch you next time.
Extra, extra butter on the corn for me. Extra, extra butter. I hope they don't charge a fee, but it won't matter anyway. I got a good movie to play. I'm gonna ask my friends to stay extra butter for me.